Okay, so make sure you consider this lab more of a mathematical puzzle, a mathematical challenge to figure out. Um, because once Millikan devised the brilliant, ingenious experiment, um, the bulk of the work was making sense of all the numbers, all these uh, charges for all these droplets of oil, and seeing if he could make sense of all these numbers, all these amounts of charges, and boil it down to the charge of a single electron. So we're going to do something very analogous. I have four piles of beads. Uh, we don't know how many beads there are. I mean, if I look, I can count, but I just kind of randomly put in beads in pile A, beads in pile B, beads in pile C, beads in pile D. You certainly don't know how many beads are in each, but despite that, your job is to figure out the mass of one bead without knowing how many beads are in each pile. So a tall, difficult mathematical challenge, but I know you're up to it. Okay, so let me take the mass of these four piles of beads, and I'll start with pile A. So I'm going to tare the weigh boat, and okay, get a mass of 2.40 grams. So I'll just write that in my data table here. So pile B, 0 the weight boat, and we have 4.32. Okay, pile C, got it. Let's see what this one is. We have 6.72. Okay, this is riveting video, I'm sure. Watching somebody weigh piles of beads. Can't find it anywhere else. Okay, and we have pile D, which is 5.76. Okay, so I have the masses of four piles of unknown numbers of beads. Let's think about what to do next. So looking at the procedure, I just did steps 1 and 2. Your job is to pick it up from here and do steps 3 and 4. And so step 3, you should have a data table that looks like this, where you're simply taking the differences in the masses of these four piles. So the difference between A and B, the difference between A and C, the difference between A and D, etc. You're going to get some numbers here, and then see what sense you can make of those numbers. And remember, I am guessing, I haven't read this explicitly, that Millikan didn't just figure this out in one day. These experiments, certainly back in the late 1800s and early 1900s, they all took years of thought and input and conversations. So give yourselves a moment or a few moments to just contemplate these numbers. If the answer doesn't come in a few moments or even longer, then go to the next step, and that's step 4. There's 4 parts. There's 3 parts to step 4, and follow those 3 steps within step 4, A, B, and C. And again, take your time, see if anything pops into your head, and we'll go from there.